Welcome to the No Limit Selling Podcast, where industry leaders share their advice on how you can become better, stronger, faster. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the No Limit Selling Podcast. Today we have an old friend joining us. Tristan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you're in Sudbury, Ontario, and one of the things that people may not know about Sudbury is when they were doing the lunar rover, the car that went on the moon with Neil Armstrong, they wanted to find a place on Earth that could actually mimic it, and they picked Sudbury, Ontario to give it a test drive. Did you know that, Tristan?
I didn't know that, but that would make sense. My parents drove through here before I was born, and they're like, we're never living here because it was like just a big black rock. But since then, they've really learned how to grow some vegetation. It's a lot greener now.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful place. So right now we are at kind of like a crossroads where the year isn't as strong as it could be, and you're leading a team right now. How many people in the team?
3 agents plus me.
So right now, it's your job as a leader, because let me tell you a quick story, then I'll ask the question. I was doing this thing for charity where I was rappelling down a building, and it sounded really great in concept, but when you get to the edge of a 28-story building and you look down, it's like, holy crap, I don't want to fall. And these people were putting all these harnesses on me, and it was like, I don't trust these people. I don't know these people, but I know the executive director of the Kidney Foundation, and because I trust her trust is being leveraged by these people to allow me to go down this thing. And so in tough times, one of the jobs of the leader is to provide that level of trust and certainty so your agents can maybe not trust in themselves, but they trust in you and can go down that journey and not lose faith. So talk to me about a leader's role when times are challenging. How do you manage that? And
so having been through some ups and downs, it's having the confidence that knowing that there are some hard times, but then it gets better at the end. So really motivating them to make the calls, do the prospecting, go out on appointments, do open houses, all those things that when you maybe don't have as many listings or appointments set right now, these are all things that realtors should be doing on a daily basis to get business that's going to come in the future. So I kept telling them, hey, this is a very slow winter, but spring is around the corner. The work that you do now is going to help you be successful in the spring.
what's kind of interesting is, a lot of people when the summer is there and the harvest is there, people are like, some of them are goofing off and it's like deals are coming in. But one of the things leaders inspire is, do the activities doggedly, especially the ones that make money, which is prospecting and open houses and all those things in good times and bad, because when it gets to bad times, they're not as bad as they're going to be for everybody else. And B, you don't have to do a lot extra to offset the downtimes. Is when you're not doing it, then you go from a zero start and you can't do the 10 prospecting things a day. You need to do 40 or 50, which is so scary that we don't do it. So talk to me about a leader's role when times are good.
So you hit the nail on the head there. When times are good, it's hard to think that you need to prospect or still need to do those tasks. But again, that's where the leader comes in, where I've had the experience of you go through ups and downs all the time. So if you know that you're on an up right now, you got to realize that you need to maybe put in that extra hour of day that is tough already because you're so busy, but you know that that'll prevent you from having the low lows. So you try to ride those highs and then keep prospecting during those highs so that you don't have the super lows like some people would experience.
Absolutely. And for you, Tristan, we're all growing. And I suspect Tristan from 4 years ago sucks compared to the Tristan that's before me now. And there's another version of Tristan 4 years in the future that'll be better. So what are the things that you're working on now? Like, what are the limitations that you're seeing? Because, when you're early in your career, those limitations are large and ugly. But as you get better, they become more subtle. And so what is some of the stuff you're working on so Tristan 4.0 shows up?
Yeah. So right now, my team is still fairly new, and I started my team when it was extremely busy. So I guess the roles of my 2 admins and assistants, I I hired them kind of quick. I maybe didn't outline exactly what I should have. So right now, when it's a little bit slower, I'm starting to work on on my business instead of in my business.
Nice.
So for me, it's really setting up the systems, reaching out to other team leaders, seeing how they do things, finding other ways to generate leads, and really keeping the agents in line so that we're all working and prospecting as much as possible.
So who is a team leader in your on your radar that you look up to go, this person is really doing a great job? And who is that person? What attributes do they have that you admire?
So it's probably a lot of people probably know them, but Justin Konikow and Tom Story, they're both in the Toronto area. I spoke at an event that they were keynote speakers for. And for example, Tom Story, I really love how he delivers information, and I'm very similar. That's how I've grown my business. I enjoy giving my opinion on the real estate market, how like these rates will affect us here in Sudbury. So very specific. And Tom Story does that at even in a higher level. He has like a great YouTube channel that I'm trying to mimic. I actually steal some of his videos sometimes,
It's the highest accolades when you steal something from someone, according
exactly.
to the
Yeah, and he's doing a great job at it. So those are probably the two that I look up to. There's a lot of them out there.
And who was the first guy? Tom Story, and who was the first guy?
Justin Konikow.
How do you spell the last name?
Konikow, I believe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Send me an email. I can send you his information if you like.
Brilliant. So, what set of beliefs do you think a leader needs to have in order to, stay true to their mission?
The belief in themselves that you have the right product, and also just the confidence of knowing, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, knowing the deals are gonna come, and knowing that the work you're doing that you don't see immediate results for will be there. So that's what I try to instill in the team members as well, especially in these slow periods.
Absolutely. So right now, tell me about a challenging situation that came up early in leadership for you, because, you're minding your own business, you're a realtor, you're doing a good job. And then you get this cockamamie idea, I should have a team. Then all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, now I got to be a leader, which is a different skill set. So talk to me about one of the early challenges that came up as you became a leader in this real estate business.
It's running a business more than doing the job of a realtor at that point, right? So I had, honestly, I had a lot of trouble, and I'm still working through some things. It's definitely not perfect, and it's managing my time, because I'm still dealing with a lot of buyers and sellers, managing the admins and assistants, making sure that they have tasks to do that are straightforward, and then the agents as well, keeping them busy and sending them enough leads and helping them grow. So managing all that, I realized, was a lot. So my biggest struggle, like I was saying, is probably setting up the systems and understanding exactly how I want to grow the team. And I kind of realized that a smaller team is probably what I prefer. Because I still love selling and going to see homes and helping clients. So I got to realize where my passion is, but the team helps me also have some more time, which with a family now, 2 young kids, I can take some of the evenings off and weekends.
Brilliant. Before we go further, I want to hear from one of our sponsors. It's all about mindset. If you take a look at that corner, you're going to see the QR code there. Let's hear from Mindset Boosters. If you're ready to let go of anxiety, let go of uncertainty, let go of doubt, Mindset Boosters gives you the ability to decide how you act and feel in any situation. Ready to take charge of your mindset? Go to mindsetboosters.com. So Tristan, it's you can't be on all the time, and we have ups and downs. What do you do when you have a day where the dog ate your homework and you're not feeling the magic? How do you kind of snap out of those negative moments and get back into your optimal self?
It's tough. It's tough. My girlfriend calls it my man period. So every month or 2 months, I kind of get like a little burnout period where I'm super, super tired. Honestly, the main thing I know now, it used to really bug me, and I used to get really down on myself. But now I realize that I need the rest. So I try to relax and sleep in a little bit, take a couple extra naps for those 3-4 days.
Mm.
And again, it's like the other thing where the business is coming. I know it's going to be over in 3-4 days. I just got to listen to my body, listen to myself, and then I usually max a week, and then I'm back out of it and ready to go for the next 2 months.
Brilliant. What's kind of interesting is if you can inoculate yourself, so those things come few and far between. And one of the ways to do that is to really maintain a positive mindset. And one of the ways to do that is you said you had 2 kids.
Yep.
Who's the youngest?
Lottie.
Lottie. And if you said this sentence, I'm grateful for Lottie because, finish that sentence off for me. So read the whole thing and finish it off.
I'm grateful for Lottie because watching her grow and learning every little thing that we say and do is just amazing.
Isn't it? And if for a moment now, if you thought of one of those moments that you may have had this morning or a week from now, and you go back to that moment, you get that rich emotion coming up. And just doing like that every day, something that you already have that you're grateful for, like this technology that we got. I've got a really cool hat with a logo on it. Just we don't need to wait for this, like when I win $1 million, because work is all consuming, family is all consuming, and sometimes we lose sight of those things that we take for granted. So that's how you handle what you do. The people that you're leading, when they're having an off day or they're having a deal that was absolutely 100% coming at the last minute, as in real estate, something goes wrong. How do you keep them on track? Like, what do you say to them to allow them to not freak out?
Yeah. So it happens to almost every deal lately, it seems, right? So there's always something to deal with. Um, the best thing I say is communication. So if you're communicating everything to the other agent, the broker, the lawyers, and you're explaining the situation as best as possible, I try to give them the confidence that everyone wants this deal to happen. So you just got to find the one little thing that's going to help it move along a little bit further, whether it's something from the lawyers that they need, or because when there's too many people involved, the message kind of gets jumbled sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So usually trying to get it cleared up. And most of the time, knock on wood, we've had some good success and everything's followed through and closed on time.
Absolutely. And, at some level, realtors are totally useless until you get one of those things that happens. And then it's like saves the day. And also, realtors help avoid those things happening in the first place. So, what are your thoughts that, when you're dealing with a new client, to walk them through? Let's hey, there is a chance, at the last minute, some document's going to be needed or some unreasonable thing's going to come up that, I'm going to be there for you to help you navigate that. So one school of thought is don't tell clients that, you'll scare them off and they won't want to work with you. And another set is you set the expectation so they know, oh, this is why I have a realtor. And if something happens, I don't need to freak out. I just need to go, hey, Tristan, I remember you telling me like this is happening now. What do I need to do? So what are your thoughts on, being totally transparent on something that may not happen versus just not doing that?
I think it's really important because it also shows that you've been through deals that things have happened. So it shows your experience a little bit. So a newer agent might say that, but they haven't quite experienced anything that can go wrong in a deal, which is almost like things that you wouldn't even think of, right? So as an experienced agent, you give them a heads up. You say, hey, my job is to try to prevent all these things that could happen. But if they do, don't worry. You just give me a call. This is why I'm here. And we have partners, referrals. We know everyone in the industry. We can work through it and fix the issue.
Brilliant. So oftentimes you've heard this phrase before, I suspect, do as I say, not as I do, which so have you ever found yourself doing that? Like the way you're coaching your realtors, do it a certain way, which is quote unquote the proper way. And sometimes we're not doing it ourselves. Or do you have to really make sure you're living up to what you're preaching?
So of course that happens sometimes. I think it's all things that I have done though. So at this point in my career, I don't need to quite prospect as much. I still do, and I love it, but they should be doing a lot more than I am just because they're still in the career building phase.
Right.
So I still try to, I'm more of a, I'm more of an example. I try to set the example. So I'm in the office as much as I can.
Mm.
I want them to see me making calls, see me doing deals, see me reaching out to past clients, giving CMAs. That just, I guess, one of my ways of teaching. Although I need to, again, a thing that I'm learning is people learn in different ways. Some people need more direction. Some people need to just watch and learn, and they have their own learning ways of learning. So I need to learn everyone's individual way of learning and teach them that way.
Brilliant. And as you grow your organization, right now there's a culture in place with your team, and it could be the exact one that you want, or you could be working towards what you want. Where is it right now? Is it exactly what you want right now? Are there tweaks that you're making to kind of get the right work environment for everybody?
Definitely some tweaks. I think I starting the team, I was more of the laid back. I'm going to just be the example, and everyone's going to follow, and everything's going to be great. But now I'm starting to implement more like have tos. Here's the things that you have to do on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. So I started some spreadsheets where the admins have to fill out on a daily basis. What have you done today? Agents where you tracking our leads a lot more, doing regular prospecting, and then tracking our hours and our amount of prospecting so that you know, okay, how many people have we reached out on social media, phone calls, past clients, Sphere, just so there's more tangible items that we can refer to, like how hard are you actually working, right? If you're not in the office, I don't know.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. And it's so easy because one of the things that I hear from a lot of people we've interviewed on the show is people join real estate for the flexible hours. But if you want to be successful, you need to work hard. And it's not something that comes effortlessly for 99% of people. It's something that people make it look easy, but they're working it. So one of my clients, certainly everyone prospects, and but on Thursdays they do it together. And last year they did this calling day where they had this outrageous goal was to have 100 conversations each, and there's 10 agents. So as a group, they had 1,000 conversations. So you can imagine the number of dials. To get one conversation, it might be 2 or 3 dials, but it was a day of breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the massive amount of business they generated off that one day. And something about doing it together just made it more fun, and prizes. And it was just because that's the culture of their team, is very much we're hunters. So when I took them on a retreat to really discover who they were, that's what came up. So everybody got an arrow dropped off to them just to remind them we're hunters. So other agents are out there having a vacation. We're out there hunting for clients and hunting for our clients. So yeah, it's thoughts on that?
Well, I'm going to steal it. That's a
Good.
great idea.
That's the best way to do it, is to stealing is saying good job.
Yeah. It'll be, I think that would be generate lots and lots of business, and great to just have like practice the conversations too, right? If you approach it that way, instead of, oh, I'm just going to think of the end goal, the result. Like if you think of it as practicing 100 real estate conversations, that's a win as well.
And certainly, framing it up, it's like, when you're making calls, I don't want you to get an appointment. I don't want you to get a deal. It's like, I want you to make friends. I want you to add value to this person today. So they kind of go, I'm so glad you called. And then it's like, oh, I'm not selling. Let me add value. And it just kind of sometimes just reframes it. And it lets them do better conversations and add more value. And of course, that leads to sales.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I'm going to close them an appointment, then it's sometimes difficult to do. So it's kind of interesting. So Tristan, as you may know, that, my area of expertise is mindset and how to get people to perform at a higher level. So for the next 10 minutes, I am yours. What questions about mindset and execution do you have that hey, Umar, help me. This is, how do I make my people do this? So what questions do you have for me?
That's awesome, actually. So for motivation for the team, um, and keeping them on track and in line, they have different motivations than me. How do I make it so to get them to want to work and want to make the calls more than they are now?
Okay, so I'll tell you just a general way of getting people to be motivated to execute. So everybody is different in a lot of ways. So if I go, Tristan, how are you different? And it's like, oh, what the hell? Well, what kind of question is that? So if you and I were having a coffee and I asked you this question, hey, Tristan, when you were going to school, elementary, high school, or college or whatever, who was a teacher that really inspired you and got you to perform at your very best? And if I asked you that question, Tristan, who was that teacher for you?
Denis Piquet. And
Danny?
there's two of them, yeah.
Yeah. So pick the first one. What did they do to inspire you to go above and beyond?
I'd have to say the encouragement. They would how do you say it? Not congratulate, but just encourage.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And so tell me about a particular time they encouraged you. That comes to mind right now.
He was also my basketball coach, which really helped. And he would have confidence in me on the court to make the right decisions and plays for the team.
Nice. So for you, it's like me having confidence in you is going to be really, really important that you can feel it. And then with that confidence, if I inspired you to go towards a goal, if I tried to inspire you without the confidence, it probably wouldn't work as well. And so for you, I know how to motivate you to make that happen. And if I was talking to someone else, I'd ask them the same question, not in a meeting, when we're having coffee or going out for lunch or going to an appointment in the car ride, just casually ask that question. Who was the teacher that inspired you the most and what did they do? Well, tell me about one of those times, and people will reveal how they need to be motivated. Because if you ask someone, say, how do you need to be motivated? They'll give you the intellectual answer. Well, I need ABC, which is not true, but they're not lying to you because that's what they think. You ask them a question like that. Leadership is very sneaky, let me tell you. And then they reveal exactly what they want. And when you start doing it, you'll see magical results because you're aligning with their internal way of being led.
That's a great question. That's a great way of like figuring it out without them having to think about it or tell you.
Put on the spot, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what else would you like to know?
I guess same. For the admins, I guess. How would you have the motivation? How would you motivate them? Because it's a different style, right? It's to help the business grow and doing the things in the back end and wanting the business to be successful.
So one of the questions to ask them that I normally hold, like might have a pen in my hand. If I had a magic wand that would allow you to do your job better, what could I do to make that happen? And then they'll go, if we had a better process to do X, or if it's like this wishful thinking, and if I could just get a better understanding of how what I do fits into that, you'll get magical output from them. And you'll also get a way of what they need to kind of move forward. So that's one way. It's a off the wall question. Also, one asked in a casual setting is best. Because they come into my office, let's talk about your job. And they're thinking I'm going to be fired or I'm not doing something well. Or you're at the desk. So, but if you're out and about and it's just that silly, whimsical question to them, but it's a serious question for you. And it allows them to use a different filter in their head. Whereas, what processes need to be changed to make this job better? A filter comes up like, what's the right answer he's looking for? One is like, if I had a magic wand and we could change this, it just puts a different filter inside their head and they reveal what's most apparent. And oftentimes they know what's fixing. And for whatever reason, they're not telling you, or they're not telling you in the right way. And this is a way for them to communicate that allows them to share what's going on and allow you to go, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Or that's a totally crap idea, but that inspires me to pick a better one. And so, yeah, it's that level of dialogue. All
That's
right,
awesome.
one more question. Third question.
Third question: when talking to clients, how would be the best way to um, make them not comfortable, but understand your value and understand, because you try to give them advice sometimes, but they
Mhm.
hear different advice from their parents, their aunt and uncle, and we've been in the industry the longest. So I guess giving them the motivation, depending on what it is, either to buy or to wait. How would you address a client in that way with still, because you want to have you want them to have confidence in you that you're making the right decision for them as well, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that I would do is you probably have a lot of relationships,
Mm-hmm.
professional ones, accountant, lawyer, uh, your coach at the fitness club. Uh, which one of those do you value the most? Oh, my coach at the fitness club. Really, what do you value most about the way they interact with you? And that opens up the file of what they value most in
Mm-hmm.
a professional relationship. And when you get that stuff, not right away go, aha, so you're looking for this, but later on, as you're kind of just chatting, getting to know them better. So I just want to do a great job for you. And I get a sense what you're really going to value is this and this. Do I have that right? And do I have that? So language is so important. This is what you value, which is a statement, which you may not articulate it as properly for them. And that one small misstep in your languaging would get them to go, no, not that's not it. And then you think of something else. So it's like, is it this or this? Do I have that right? And then they go, no, just tweak it this way. This is what the thing is. And then you go, yeah. And what else is missing from that list? What else is missing is, that I really have a better understanding of the real estate market. Oh, so you'd like to make sure that you get ongoing messaging to figure out what's happening in the market as we go down this journey. Yeah, I need to know every step of the way. It's like, I'm going to make sure we give that to you. They feel heard. They get an insight to what they really value because they know it internally,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know it intellectually because they never thought about it that way. And by you providing those insights, it also builds trust in you, is because you provided insights to them, because anybody can tell them about the real estate market, but giving them an insight, that's huge. And if it's about themselves too, that's even better. So anyway,
Yeah.
was this useful? This like flipping
No,
the
that's
board?
awesome. The biggest thing I feel like, no, I'm a very direct person. I like to know the answer right away, but I guess when you're dealing with other people to get the right answer, sometimes you have to ask different questions that get you there. And that was really interesting to hear that.
Brilliant. Tristan, that's what we want to do, is add value to our listeners. Thank you so much for being on the program. Stick around. We're going to put all your contact information in the show notes so people can find you. I'm going to do the closing for the show, then let's chat.
Perfect.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.